Welcome, welcome again to the June 2024 PIHRA member orientation. I'm so happy that you're here with us. I am presenting a deck that I will email to all of you. It's either going to be from me, Lily Arguello, or my right hand on the PIHRA membership team, Elisette Villanueva. I have to say that with a Spanish accent because I speak Spanish. And so housekeeping, we're going to spend the next 60 minutes together. So thank you for spending your lunchtime with me. And I am going to talk about all things PIHRA. I like to make this interactive and informative and fun. And I'm really excited because I have one of my favorite people with me here today, Eric DeWams, and I'll let him introduce himself in a little bit. And Eric, please feel free to chime in at any time and start connecting with people via the chat if you
Well,
can.
thank you so much for having me. It's always fun to see you and Elisette, and everyone give us your questions as we go through, and we're happy to have you today.
Yes, awesome. And start connecting with each other. So I already put my LinkedIn in the chat. So feel free to connect with me. And I'm having people continue to join, which is exciting. And let's make sure I got everybody. Okay. All right. I think everyone who is on is in. So feel free to put your video on or not. And I do cover a lot and I like to talk a lot. And me and Eric, we like to riff off of each other. So, but hopefully we'll have some time to have some of you unmute. Again, we are spending 60 minutes together and I have a lot of material to cover. So let's get to it. Make sure. All right, so here's our agenda. I do see someone just came in and I think they're in. Okay, great. Um, so here's what we're talking about today. I am in the welcome and general update right now. We also want to do a poll, and the poll serves so that because I do have a lot to cover, I like to focus on what you, the attendees of this orientation, want to walk away from today. This is about you and making sure that you get the information you need to utilize the PIHRA membership in a way that is best for you. If you are a new member, to find out more about how you can utilize the PIHRA membership. And if you are not a PIHRA member, to help you make that decision. I am the director of membership and I would want you to become a PIHRA member, but I want to make sure that it is good for you. I'm just taking notes as we go. The next thing we'll do is we'll do some more formal introductions. I'll introduce myself and the membership team, and then also I'll give Eric a chance to introduce himself. We'll go through a PIHRA overview, talk about member benefits, also the learning and networking opportunities at PIHRA, and then wrap things up. Again, however, just to repeat, I'm going to use the poll to really focus in on the things that you want to walk away from. So I will be focusing on those things. And I see people coming from all over downtown LA. I'm in near downtown LA. So welcome, Tevin. Valerie, welcome. Beverly Hills, West LA. I grew up in West LA, so very fond of that area.
Cal
Maria,
State LA.
Cal State LA. Maria's coming in from Irvine. She has employees national. Welcome, welcome. And all right, Jonathan, Cal State. Wonderful. Great. Well, let's get this going. So as a general update, I'm excited because PIHRA is offering up to, at least, actually, at least 3 webinars a month. Sometimes PIHRA, we're on staff, and I'll explain that a little bit more. So I'm on a staff, but we also have 18 chapters that are managed by volunteer leaders. They also do webinars. So I don't know why I think I need to admit somebody. That's why I'm getting kicked back to Zoom. Uh, So I'm really excited that as a member, you get all of our webinars for free. And we have all kinds of topics going on. At the end of this webinar, I have a list of the webinars and meetings coming up. So I really want you to sign up for a webinar, especially if you're a member. You get recertification credit, you meet people on webinars, and things like that. However, I think what really makes us different here at PIHRA, other than compared with all the other HR associations and even SHRM, is that we have a fantastic local accessible community through our 18 chapters that most of them are meeting in person. So along with the list at the end of webinars, I also have in-person meetings. So please get out there. I mean, one of the things that the pandemic taught me was not to do life alone. I have a real hard time asking for help, but I now make it a point, and I did before because I know it's good for my networking. Um, to get out there. I go to a PIHRA meeting. I go to other association meetings. I will call a former professor or a colleague to set up a lunch or something. So please get out there. If it's not PIHRA, go to another event. But our chapters are hosting in-person events, and they're fantastic. Keep visiting the PIHRA calendar at pihra.org/calendar, because we're always adding meetings, and you're not going to find as affordable, accessible, or actionable in-person meetings or webinars than with PIHRA. I guarantee you, I've done the research. So I don't see any questions. So I don't know. Eric, do you want to comment on my what I'm talking about in terms of in-person meetings out there?
You really can't compare with the in-person, and we're really seeing that, especially with the most recent car conference. And hey, during the pandemic, it made sense. We were doing things streaming and people were doing it from home. But what you miss out on is the real networking and being able to share your stories. Talk about the things that you are stumbling on in the workplace, the things that your CEO and your CFO just don't get, and how do you get through to them? And having that support group that understands you, understands what we deal with, so we can translate that into the workplace, and also the networking. And by the way, we have a great time. We have so much fun when we do it. The energy is palpable when you're there in a way that you just don't get from being at your desk and streaming. So we hope you come in person, because you can't replace that experience in any way, shape, or form. And that's what we're hearing from people who were stuck streaming for a couple of years. Like, oh my gosh, this is so different and so much better, and this is what I needed. And to be able to talk personally with these people. So that's my spiel on it. But I'm an advocate for come out and join us and be with
Thank,
us.
thank you, Eric. I'm kind of front loading this because it's so important, but let's keep going and let's get to our poll. So, why are you here right now at this orientation? Tell us. My partner Elisette is going to launch the poll. All right, it's been launched. Tell us, what is the information you are seeking uh, during this webinar? Is it you want more information about PIHRA chapters? You want more information about PIHRA monthly meetings? Find out what are those like? How about PIHRA seminars and conferences? Or maybe you're interested in getting your HR certification. Are you interested in volunteering, or perhaps the relationship between PIHRA and SHRM? So let us know if there's something different that you're interested in. Just write it in the chat. Get it? Might not have listed it for you. So I'd be happy to answer all those questions that you have. Sometimes people have questions or want information that's really tailored to them specifically. I may invite you to set up a time with me so we could talk about that outside of the orientation. Again, I'd be happy to do that.
By the
All
way,
right.
Valerie
Yeah.
just said, because you can only pick one in the submission, she said all of the above.
All
So
right. No
all of the above.
problem.
Valerie.
No problem. We got you. We got you, Valerie. So in the lead here, I think we have 15 people that participated. PIHRA monthly meetings. So what are those about? And HR certification, always a big topic. We got volunteering. We got also, I'll talk about all these things, by the way. PIHRA and SHRM. And me and Eric were just at the SHRM conference. I think Eric could talk a little bit more about that, but I could definitely talk about our relationship and then seminars, conferences, and things like that. And if there's an other, I see 3 people said other, so just let us know what what that other is, and I'll do my best to respond. All right, so I think good. I'm gonna stop. Oh, well, here's the results. I think you could see the results. Thank
Yep.
you, Elisette.
Yeah, there's a lot,
Stella's all the above
mostly
too.
other. So let's dive into other.
Yeah, I
Other
think
was
Stella
oh,
says,
other was all of the above.
yeah, yep. Okay, well, if anyone else has a other that's specific, then
Okay.
not all the above, we're going to touch on all the above. Okay, very good. Very good, very good. I think I'm going to stop sharing the results and let's keep going. All right. And I do see we have a volunteer leader with us. Hi, Clarissa. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi,
Please.
Hi, how are you? I'm
Hi.
another, and my other was because we do have a lot of people that join. I felt I needed a refresher to just go. I've never attended one of these, to be honest. So if I'm board chair, I should be on top of these. So
I love
uh,
it.
Well,
yeah,
welcome,
just
Clarissa.
I just wanted to come and kind of refresh. I don't know how long ago it's been, so yeah.
No, perfect. I love that. And so everybody, Clarissa, she is the chair of our PIHRA Ventura County chapter. So if anyone's in Ventura County, you can kind of chat her up, make sure to connect with her somehow. And I also see Brad. Brad, I see you. Thanks for joining me. So and Ronald, are you walking around? Where are you doing, Brad? Well, thanks for joining. And Ron,
I'm actually on the treadmill right now. Got to multitask, but
Oh,
they
working
yell at,
out on
are you
his
at the gym? Oh my gosh,
of
now I'm
course,
feeling really guilty.
they scold me when I'm on a phone call inside, so I have to be discreet.
Okay,
yeah.
don't worry, don't worry. I saw
Way to
you.
make us feel bad about ourselves, Brad, while you're working out at this. I need to have a treadmill on my next to my laptop.
I don't feel well. That's my excuse. Okay, so I'm here in the middle. Hopefully you can see my slide. My name is Liliana Arguello. Everyone calls me Lily. You can call me Lily too. I I'm the director of membership. I joined PIHRA in 2014. I actually got the job through LinkedIn. So my supervisor, Rafael Rivera, and feel free to reach out to him and tell him you love me and that you really enjoyed this orientation. I'm sure he'd be happy to hear from you. Um, yeah, I got this job through LinkedIn. So that is a big plug for you to have a LinkedIn, a really strong LinkedIn profile. In addition, it's a strong plug for you to do volunteer leadership because Raphael would have probably never reached out to me if he didn't know that I was doing some work with the National Association of Women MBAs. Um, One last thing, I started my career in organizational development. So I worked for a professor at the UCLA Graduate School of Management, and I kind of worked my way up. He was my first mentor, and we did organizational assessment, strategic planning, management training, leadership training, all that sort of stuff, organizational structure audits, corporate culture audits. So, I was a PIHRA member before I ever dreamed to be on staff. And I was recruited to PIHRA from the Girl Scouts of Greater LA. And if you want that story, I could tell you that story, maybe at one of Eric's networking events coming up. But I'd be happy to share that. Here on my right is Elisa Villanueva. Elisa is my right hand, and I am going to pause to let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Lily. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm glad to see some board members here too. It's rare to see a board member join. So I'm glad that we have a good group of us here today. So yeah, like Lily mentioned, I'm the membership coordinator here at PIHRA. I've been here for, I think it's going to be 8 years later this fall.
Wow.
It's been a while, yeah. And I just got back from maternity leave, so I'm also looking forward to just learning and seeing what PIHRA has been up to since I've been away. But I will be monitoring the chat box during this webinar, and so will Eric. So we'll try to make it as interactive as possible. So also feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Usually I'm the first person you speak to if you dial the main number. So Lily and I, we're very accessible. So thank you, Lily. I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Elisette. I won't have her show us the baby because we'll try to move quickly through this. So Elisette is the first person you're likely to speak to when you call the main line, which is on this slide. Remember, I'm going to send these slides out to you. It is my commitment to our members that I will get back to you within 24 hours. If it's not me, it's Elisette. That's usually the case unless something's going on. So if you don't hear from me, email me again. Something happened. Something didn't work out. Or something's going on, not going to plan, but that is my commitment. And usually I respond very quickly, like within the next day if I'm online. Also on the left on this slide is Matt Hallett. He is the chair of the membership committee. He is one of my other favorite people like Eric. He is my liaison with the board and very accessible. He's an advocate for our members at the board level. He's always saying, you know, this is what our volunteer leaders need. This is what our members need from us. And so Matt is fantastic. He's a volunteer leader. I think I've already given 3 plugs for being a volunteer leader, and I'll talk about why in a moment, but it's one of our best kept secrets. If you want to grow in your career, gain access to the HR community in a real exponential way, become a volunteer leader. So let's keep going. Haha. All right. Now I
Oh, that's
got
me.
Eric. It's you. It's all yours. Tell us about yourself, Eric.
Well, fantastic. At least I'm not wearing the same bow tie. That would just be embarrassing. So for those of you who are existing PIHRA members, you may have seen me once or twice doing a presentation at some of these conferences. It's hard to miss me with the bow tie, so usually people recognize me from that. Usually I'm presenting with our PIHRA president, Tara. We do our building airplanes in flight, and we do that to bring the education. So we always have a different topic, and we're trying to train our HR leaders, which is one of the big things that PIHRA brings. Now, just a little bit about me. My day job is I'm a trial attorney. That's what I do. I'm an employment law trial attorney, defense only. Don't get it confused. Never a plaintiff's attorney. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be permitted, rightfully so, on this. So, so I do all defense work, but I spend a lot of time working with PIHRA because it's important to get the education out there. I've spent so much time working with clients and HR and direct employers on what do we do? These laws are changing every 2 seconds. How can we possibly do the good work that we do and still stay compliant and not get sued and lose 6 or 7 figures by a nuisance suit that just because of the California laws? And if you trip over it, it's incredibly unforgiving in California. So I use this time for just my clients, but just for the HR industry in general, to have a platform to help educate so we can avoid these issues and stay compliant. And it's really hard. You can be doing HR for 35, 40 years and still struggle with these things because these laws are not designed to be easy to manage, especially in real time. That's my day job, but I also do one of these volunteer leader positions, which I adore. I'm the chair for the PIHRA College Relations Committee that I took on in October. What that is our opportunity to, and why I did it, is our opportunity to give back to our students and provide a platform for them to meet mentors, know what to do, and have some type of insight for their HR career coming out of school. So we have 12 chapters at college chapters that we work with, and these students are amazing. We had at the last CAR conference a competition for these chapters, and we had Cal Pomona win the competition and come to the conference. And the looks in their eyes, it was just, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm part of this community. And it was just nonstop excitement. It's a long conference and a long day and a lot of things to do. And I never saw the smile fall off their faces because they were having so much fun getting educated, meeting other HR professionals. So that's my way of being able to give back to students. And we have an amazing team that does that as well. On that note, we can always use more volunteers to join us because we are expanding our canvas to other colleges as well to make sure that these students have this access in this platform. And also moving into those who have graduated and become what we call these emerging leaders. You know, they're in the profession, they're still struggling, they're in a company, they don't exactly have the contacts, and we try and provide that resource for them as well as they're starting their career. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me, reach out to Lily, she knows how to get to me. Ella said, I had some trouble with the chat, so if you don't mind dropping in my LinkedIn in there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll share it right
Just
now.
in case anybody wants to reach out. I also spend a lot of time giving educational resources on Instagram, easy to find there too. There's not too many Eric Duams out there. So I'm easy to find, and what we do is we, through PIHRA as well, trying to get that education out there. For example, you know, the new PAGA reform that just came out, right? So with that, it's huge, and it's so important, Private Attorney General Act, and this is the first time we have a bright light for employers under the PAGA laws. And so we're trying in real time to make sure our HR people, our employers are up to date so they can be armed with what to do now, because it hasn't changed in 20 years and all of a sudden it's changing overnight in a finally a positive way.
I heard about that. I'm sorry, Eric.
Yeah, it's a massive deal. It's not in final yet, but it will be shortly because it's an urgent legislation. And they're essentially doing that to try and avoid the ballot in November that was going to repeal PAGA. So people on the side were worried, hey, there's a chance here it could get repealed, so let's start negotiating, where they were never at the table before. So really good stuff coming. I also have a podcast that I do monthly to bring that type of education out there very often. I have one of my PIHRA leaders joining me. This last podcast we did on location in Chicago at SHRM. And I had Tara Fournier, the PIHRA president, with me, and Andy Covell, who's SHRM treasurer for San Diego, joining me, and we spoke a lot about the PAGA reform as well and what was happening at these conferences. So that will be released next week on Tuesday. And we do that every month just for the new laws that come out, helping people stay educated as the needle moves all the time. So I think I've spoken enough about me by a long shot. So if there's any questions, even if it's about PAGA, feel free to reach out.
So everybody, if you are not already following Eric on LinkedIn or his Instagram, please do that right now. Take out your phone and follow him because he is a wealth of knowledge. He's also, I mean, I'm sorry, Eric, I'm just going to say this out loud. I usually get around along with attorneys. I can't even talk. But Eric is one of the nicest, kindest men I've ever met. So please do that. Please do that right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's one of the things, and it's one of the notes I wanted to mention about PIHRA also. And this is a really key point. In your HR careers, one of those things, and one of the things I see and why I spend so much time here is that relationship between HR and their attorneys. And that relationship is so important. They should be a constant resource for you, not a source that brings fear, right? Like, oh, I should know this, so why should I, these things are always moving. And if you have an employment counsel, develop that relationship so you feel comfortable, giving a call or a text message on the spot, because it's a relationship type of profession. And having that relationship is really important. And PIHRA does a fantastic job of bringing that together and taking out the fear of those relationships to make sure that we're being our best for our companies, for our clients, for our employees. But
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I agree. PIHRA does a great job and is very well known for the California Employment Law Update. And there's a couple of attorneys that I've met through the California Employment Law Update that I would feel absolutely comfortable reaching out to. I could name a few, but I better not. So and that's really rare. So let's keep going and talk a little bit so we can get to some of those pressing questions. Here's our mission. I'm not going to read it. We were established in 1944 in November, I believe, of 1944. So it's going to be our 80th anniversary. So that's going to be a big initiative this year, starting at the
PIHRA,
end
you
of
look
this
great
year.
for your age.
We look great. Yeah.
Mhm.
We are the largest SHRM chapter in the US. I know that because I have the data for that. I don't have the data for whether we are the largest SHRM affiliate in the world, but I think we are. So we are a chapter in good standing with SHRM. And what that means is that, we are affiliated with SHRM. However, SHRM has their membership, which is a fantastic membership and affiliation, and PIHRA has its separate membership. So we are two separate entities. Let's see what else I could say. I think the two memberships go real fantastic together. And if you have any more questions about SHRM and PIHRA, let me know. I attended the SHRM conference last week. I wish I was in better shape because there was so much going on. It was fantastic. Almost a little bit too much, right?
Right.
Eric?
It was overwhelming. 26,000 people. It was kind of overwhelming, but it was fantastic. And you saw a lot of our PIHRA members, our PIHRA board. We were all there because it's an opportunity for us all to come together, all the chapters. So seeing that camaraderie and the PIHRA group there with me in Chicago, it was amazing. And they had fun stuff too. They have concerts. We did Kelly Clarkson and all that kind of stuff. But we also had so many different educational tracks as well.
Oh, so many different. Just really quickly for my own, I don't know if anyone else is curious, but I missed the California reception on Sunday. How many people were there? There was people from all around the world in Chicago.
It was packed. So
really?
I was a co-host for that and didn't know exactly what we were going to get, but we had a packed group that had a blast, food, music,
So like
kind
50,
of stuff.
60, 100 people or more?
Oh, it was hundreds. Yeah.
Hundreds. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Great place to get together with your HR community.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about a couple of key players. Eric mentioned Tara Fournier, has a SPHR, SHRM SEP. She is our current president of the PIHRA board. She has an extensive background in HR management and organizational development. She is working with Eric and has been working with Eric for several years on doing some trainings for HR. And she is the founder and chief executive consultant of T4HR. You're going to see her at our conferences and at the California Employment Law Update. She'll likely be at all of them because she's working with you, right, Eric? So
we're doing all the CELUs. Absolutely.
yeah, so she'll be there.
Sure.
Awesome. And then also on this slide is Rafael Rivera. He is our Chief Executive Officer. He's the person who brought me into PIHRA, and I really credit him for putting together a great team for PIHRA. He has extensive experience with developing associations, and really he has turned PIHRA into what it is today. He's rebranded our conference. It used to be the PIHRA Annual Conference. Now it is the California HR Conference. He's also rebranded our Employment Law Update, which used to be PIHRA Legal Update, and now it's the California Employment Law Update. So we provide education on employment law for anyone doing business in California. And, at least Seth has worked here for 8 years. I have worked here for 10 now. So it's really a credit to him of really making this a wonderful place to work. So he's a great guy. Feel free to reach out to either Tara or Raphael via LinkedIn. They're very responsive. To give you a sense of who our membership is, this slide kind of does that for us. We have right around 3,400 members. We have shrunk since the pandemic. We used to be at 4,500 members. So it's a little bit kind of sad for me as a membership director, but we are growing that back with the help of people like Eric. But just so you know, right around 44% of our membership are at that HR manager generalist level. 22% are at the HR director level, and around 9% are at the CHRO, Chief People Officer, VP of HR level. We also have what we call service providers. Those are people who are like Matt Pallett, who I introduced you to a little before. He is an insurance broker. We have people in the staffing industry, in the 401k business, and things like that. Most of these folks have been with PIHRA and been members for a very long time, and they are here to build relationships. So they have an understanding not to go out and sell to people, because once they do that, they know that Raphael or myself, we're going to get a call. Like, why is this person calling me? So I really like working with the service provider. It's their job to be out there knowing what the HR pain points are. In addition, if you meet them at a chapter meeting, they're going to be the first person to know when there's an open position somewhere. So I know I attended a PIHRA Long Beach event, and one of the guys from AMA said, hey, if anyone's interested, I know about an HR director job downtown. So go to those meetings, because that's where you're going to get that word of mouth about open positions, about different things going on. Let's see what else. 40% of our membership is HR certified. I passed my SHRM SCP in 2021. I will tell you about that in a little bit. That is not for the faint of heart. So you do have to study. Just like Eric was talking about HR people, even if you have a lot of experience, you want to stay on top of those HR laws. Well, even if you are the VP of HR and you're like, that test is going to be simple for me, don't do it. Don't do it without studying, because it can be a challenge. What are the industries? The top, what is this? The 5 industries represented by our members are manufacturing, consulting, nonprofit, healthcare, and education. And yeah, our members represent over 2,300 organizations that range in size. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a profile on our membership. So I don't see anything in the chat. I'm going to keep going. Some of you asked about the PIHRA chapter meetings, I believe. So this slide gives you a map of our 18 chapters, and we also have 3 communities, is what we call. So for example, I know someone said they were coming or tuning in from downtown Los Angeles. So that would be our PIHRA Los Angeles chapter. And by the way, as a member, you select a preferred chapter, but you can go to any PIHRA chapter meeting that is convenient for you. So say, for example, you live in Chino, but you work in downtown LA. You can select either PIHRA Inland Valley, which is out in Pomona, or PIHRA Pasadena, which is actually in Pasadena, or PIHRA Los Angeles as your preferred chapter. But regardless, you can attend any of those meetings. So if anyone has any specific questions about PIHRA chapter meetings, please let me know in the chat, or feel free to unmute. Just to give you a sense, I'm going to keep talking though, just to give you a sense of what to expect at a PIHRA chapter meeting. They're all a little different, but you can expect there be a registration period followed by kind of networking. Sometimes they have either a sit down, they always have a meal. So either it's a continental breakfast or a sit down breakfast or a sit down lunch or buffet. And then there is a educational component. So the meal is either followed or combined with an hour or an hour and 15 minutes of professional development on a whole variety of different topics. Usually our chapters will plan their programming out 6 to 12 months in advance, and they look at what's going on in current events and what's going on in the HR community to select who they are going to have speak. Um,
I can
any,
say that,
uh-huh.
and I love all those the meetings with the the breakfast, lunches, and stuff. But I'm not going to lie, the ones I love to present are the cocktail hour ones. Honestly, because I feel like when I speak about employment laws, people need to drink while I'm talking. And we had one not too long ago at Rosenthal in Malibu, the winery, and everybody just had a blast. It was educational. We had a great time. And they had some adult beverages to get through all the employment laws with me. So they tend to be, whatever time of day it is, they tend to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and those are my favorite too. And not only because of the beverages, but yes, I like a glass of wine. But also because everyone has different schedules. So for me, I have a child that's going to school. I can't really make a breakfast meeting. I got to take her to school. I got to get to work. Lunchtime meetings are good for me, but the evening meetings, because I could always find someone to, for her to go to a friend's house or go to her dad's house. I could go to the afternoon meetings, and PIHRA West LA, which I'm kind of a West LA local, the Rosenthal, they just had one,
I
Eric.
did, yeah,
I
I
didn't
know.
feel well,
Yeah.
but it was last week. I couldn't make it, but I love those because they have a panel. You're learning something, you're getting to know people. So get out there, everybody. So that's what these PIHRA meetings. Oh, one of the things that I forgot to mention here is that pre-pandemic, our chapter meetings were very traditional. And what I mean by that is most of them were lecture style breakfasts or lunches. And I don't know about you all. I have attention span of a goldfish. So if you're just going to lecture to me, I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I don't know if it's my generation or younger, but what I love about the pandemic is that our chapters decided to change things up. And a great example is North Orange County. So they'll have a traditional breakfast meeting one month. Then the next month, they'll do a luncheon that's like an idea lab or a workshop or something like that. And then the third month, they'll do some sort of evening social or networking. Usually they do it at the Foundation Room at the House of Blues in Anaheim, which is absolutely cool and fun. And they just rotate those 3 months. Other chapters do something different. So PIHRA South Bay, I think, is another great example. They'll do a webinar one month. They'll do a traditional meeting the next month, which is like their breakfast meeting, and then they'll do a social. So we're really changing it up, and I think that's what's key to the pandemic. And what we learned from the pandemic is not everyone has the same schedule. Let's meet people where they are, and I'm really grateful for that. So I think that covers everything about PIHRA meetings. Oh, by the way, you do get recertification credit when you attend one of our chapter meetings. 95% of the time you'll be eligible for HRCI certification, recertification, or SHRM recertification. So that's another plus. There is a charge for the meetings because we got to pay for the venue and we got to pay for the meal. So that is in addition to the PIHRA membership. All right, I'm going to keep going a little quickly now. One of the specialty groups I always like to highlight is the government advocacy team. They meet quarterly. Those meetings are fantastic. Usually they have an elected come in and talk a little bit about what legislation they're working on. They played a really important role in this PAGA legislation. They went out there and got people involved in that. Eric, have you done any work with the government advocacy team for
Uh,
PIHRA?
so I have not with the government advocacy team, but I have with CalSHRM as well in connection to on these legislation points directly. So yeah, it's important. Or if we're going to have changes, we need groups like the advocacy team to be part of it, because otherwise there's nobody out there to actually make the changes that we need and to understand where we're coming from HR and from businesses perspective.
Yeah. So if any of you are interested or have outside interests in advocacy or legislation, this is a great group for you. They have their own board. All of these chapters have their own board. So if you want to get involved in volunteering, this is a great first place for you to go. I'd be delighted to introduce you to any of the volunteer leaders at these chapters. They're always looking for either formal folks to fill formal volunteer roles or even just get on a committee. Same thing for the government advocacy team, same thing for the college relations team, as Eric mentioned earlier. So please get involved. I got my job because of my work outside of work. And and if you have a really good boss or supervisor, they're watching you. They're looking to see if you're doing outside work as well, because they know that you're building the leadership skills you need to grow. You're building your planning skills, your time management skills, and also learning to deal with difficult situations, because you're going to come across that and you need that at work, just like you need that in working with community organizations. So it's really priceless, the
Well,
the experience you got. You
and
want to talk
the
about
big
that?
thing, well, the big thing is, hey, your organizations benefit from it directly. With you bringing back what you learn and what other people are dealing with and the strategies, it's a direct benefit to them. They have a vested interest in supporting you in doing these things. And many organizations sponsor these because they know they get it back by sponsoring you to be part of these organizations. So pitch that as well to your organization. Say, hey, this is, we're in California, so employer, good luck. And I can be out there on the front lines finding out how we deal with this. So set me free and let me do it. I encourage people to tell your organizations to sponsor these types of things as well.
Hey, Eric, can you talk a little bit about the impact that volunteering has had on your career, and either you professionally or personally?
Well, I mean, for me, I've been a trial attorney for 24 years, so I've kind of at the point now where I want to give back, and that's really the it's a big personal benefit for me in a lot of ways. So the personal benefit is when I see the results and I have HR leaders come up to me and say, oh my gosh, thank you for doing that that webcast, or that webinar, or that conference, because I didn't know what to do. And you spoke to me like I'm a human being as opposed to speaking at me. And it made a difference. Those things just are invaluable for me. And professionally, it's important too, because hey, HRs, they're the people I work with. A lot of my clients are in PIHRA. So I'm with clients already in the environment, and that helps bolster my business aspect as well. So it's a pretty fantastic hybrid between the two. And Lily, you've seen me at these. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that we have a great time. We enjoy the people we're around. We respect the people that we're around. And to invest our time to volunteer once we do it. I haven't seen one person say, "Oh, I wish I hadn't volunteered." Everybody is like, "Oh, this is even better than I expected it to be." If the worry is, "Gosh, I'm so busy, I don't have time," hey, tell me about it. Right? We have everybody is. If we look at our calendars, we're like, "There's just no way I can fit another thing in." And what I've learned is, if you have the real interest in it, there's always a way of doing it and providing some value. And getting something back from it, either personally or professionally. That's my spiel on it.
Thank you, Eric, for
Sure.
sharing that. That's why I love my job, because yeah, sometimes it's hectic, or oh my gosh, I have so much going on. But every now and then I get a call from a member that says, thank you for helping me through this, or thank you for connecting me with this person. It really made a difference for me. Now I got this other job that I really love. And I'm like, oh, that's why I do this work,
Yeah.
because I was able to impact someone's life.
Yeah.
And as HR people, you're impacting people's life all the time. So anyway, thank you. I won't get emotional. Let's keep going. Um, So PIHRA member benefits. Here, this slide is showing you the top 6 benefits. As a member, you're going to get a discount on HR education and training opportunities. We have a California focus here. You're not going to get as much professional development related to California and California employment law than here at PIHRA. We also, with your membership, you get an HR advisory hotline, which is a telephone-based advisory service that you can call an unlimited amount of times. I think they're open from like 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific. And it's through Mineral. There's also an online version of it. We have through Mineral a smart employee handbook builder. So if you need a quick refresh on your employee handbook, this is a place you're going to do it, and it's included with your PIHRA membership. I already talked about the free webinars and the relationship building. I can't emphasize that enough. I think Eric and I have said that over and over again. I know people who've met their best friend through PIHRA. I actually know of some people that have met their intimate partners through PIHRA. And so give PIHRA a chance. It may not be for everybody, but I tell you, this is one of the warmest communities that I've met. And you never know. You never know. You might get that great job that you've always dreamed about through a connection that you make at PIHRA. So I've seen it happen.
Let me just echo, and I know we've mentioned it before, but let me just underscore the relationship component. And it's not just the relationships because we're in a business and we're trying to build our businesses, that type of thing. It's the one place that I can say it's truly authentic relationships, people you want to spend time with, whether you're at a conference or you're at the bar down the street. It's the type of people that you respect and you also just enjoy being around. And I can say I have some of my best friends in the organization because of those moments and those, building those relationships for sure. So.
Yay. All right. So this slide just outlines some specifics. So the award-winning compliance centers through Mineral, you do have access to this. It is a partner site, so you have to log on through a SSO, so single sign-on tech. It can be temperamental. I don't want you to sit there and say like, oh my God, I can't get on there, because I would do that. Just email me, call us. Me and Elisette could get you on. We have figured this out, and it is temperamental. I'm not going to lie to you, but once you're in there, there is $10,000 worth of resources in there. We have this compliance center. There are law summaries for every state. There are sample policies, checklists. Oh my gosh, hundreds of those things. We have the telephone-based consulting service, PIHRA Live. All you got to do is call them. And then we have this, what we call PIHRA Learn. It's an enterprise-wide learning management software. You can train your employees on it. There's around 200 courses on there. You could upload your own courses. You could it does not include the mandatory sexual harassment training or the mandatory safety training that is required through OSHA, but at a discount, you can buy into it. I haven't used it personally, but we do have some of our members using it, and it's a great deal. I mean, if you were to purchase this on your own, it'd be around $10,000. So it's worth checking out. Let me know if you need any help. You can log on and they provide assistance in figuring out how to create some learning tracks. It'll help manage that for you. So it's a great resource. I'm going to keep going. So interrupt me, Elisette or Eric, if anything comes to mind.
I'm just going to ask Elisette,
Uh-huh.
because I can't see the comments. There's like, I see the number 26, but I can't see the comments. Is there anything that we should be answering?
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, Brad shared that he can attest to how warm everyone has been at the conference and at the first PIHRA Mixer that he attended in Cerritos.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brad. Any questions that we can answer on there or everything?
No
Okay.
questions.
All right.
Awesome. So usually the PIHRA membership is an individual membership. It's $175 for the year. When I email you, or at least Lisette emails you later, we do provide $15 off. So for you, it'd be $160. We also have an HR team membership. So if you have a team that you want to purchase a membership for, we have teams as small as 2 people up to over 50 people, and you do get a discount on the membership. And then there's some other benefits. I'm just leaving it up here. If you're interested, there's a QR code that leads you to the page that has more information. And you could also send me an email if you want to talk about this a little bit more. Volunteerism, I think I've talked about it. Volunteer. If it's not with PIHRA, volunteer for an organization that has a connection for you personally. Eric and I both described how when we hear back from people and they say, you taught me something, or you impacted my career, that's what keeps me going. I think that's what keeps Eric going. But you know what? The happy hours are fun too. So you might as well get out there and have a glass of wine, or glass of water with lemon, just to meet people. So again, volunteerism is one of those kept secrets. This is what I like to say about volunteerism. Networking is fine. Volunteering for an organization is networking on steroids, because it's taking you to a different level. I learned this in business school, and just by kind of observation, you could shake a lot of hands, but it's different when people get to know you. They get to know your work ethic. They get to know your interests. They speak to you, as Eric was talking about, at that authentic level. That's where you're going to build bonds. And that's when someone's going to hear about a position or some sort of whatever activity, and they're going to say, oh, I remember Clarissa. Clarissa was really good. I bet you she'd be good for this position. So Ronald, you're sold.
Yeah, Ronald said,
We're-
I'm sold. Sign me up. Thanks, Ronald.
we just need to find out where you want to
join
go.
us.
All right. I told you I talk a lot. I got a whole section to go in 7 minutes. But Ronald, I got you. I know who you are. So let's get you signed up to volunteer. Is that what your interest is in?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank you,
Okay.
Ronald. We're looking forward to working with you.
Likewise.
Ronald G. Volunteerism. Okay. Where was I? Learning and networking. Okay. HR education. We have all kinds of virtual learning. We have chapter meetings. I talked about this. We have specialty programs. One of the new specialty programs we have going on is HR Power Series. Just go to the calendar. We're always adding events. Our chapters are always adding events and socials. I think PIHRA Woodland Hills is a great example. They're doing some, did you hear about that, Eric? They're doing like burgers, brews, and something.
And
I don't,
bingo. I just saw it.
yeah, burgers, brews, and
Blues and
bingo in
Sign me up.
Camarillo, right?
I definitely in Woodland Hills. I definitely
Oh,
recommend going through the calendar. I try to plan and go through there and see, because like you said, neighboring ones sometimes they come to ours, we go to theirs, or even the webinars. The calendar's great. So
go to the calendar. That's good. The latest information. So members get at least $10 off all the registration fees for the PIHRA chapter meetings, and there's member rates for the conferences like the California HR conference and the upcoming California employment law update. Let's see what else we got going on here. Certified. Some of you had questions about HR certification. Certification, there's a lot there. So if you want to set up some time with me to talk about certification and any specific questions you have, I get it. I wanted to get certified back in 2020, what was it, 2007. And I was just like, oh my God, where do I begin? It's kind of a mystifying sort of thing. There's 2 certification agents. That's HRCI, which has been around for 40 years or plus, and then there's SHRM certification, which came out with a certification in 2015. Actually, I'm a fan of the SHRM certification. They have great preparation work, a great online learning system. You do have to study for those tests. I like the SHRM certification, not only because of the preparation material, but because of the test. It really tests based on competency and situation. So in other words, you have to select the best answer, not the right answer. And that's HR. We're dealing with humans. We got to be figuring out, you know, in the context of what the situation is. So I really like how SHRM has been able to model that, what we have to do in everyday life with the exam. So I am also a big I get certified, get educated. Your salary can increase up to $20,000 with a senior certification. So I'm a big advocate for the PHR, SPHR, SHRM CP, and SHRM SCP. I'm not as much of an advocate for the APHR because uh, uh, that's entry level. I mean, if that's your thing, great. You can get that information doing kind of a Cal State HR 101 class, but that's just me. That's just me. But do it. Do it. Spend the time, but dedicate the time to do it. We do certification prep classes. I think we have one of the best certification instructors out there. His name is Richard Dawson, and he's fantastic. So not sure if anyone has any more questions. Let me know in the chat.
I know we only have about 3 more minutes left, so I wanted to just make sure. Are you doing you're doing it right now? See the CELO update.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Employment law update. It's happening. We are very well known for the California employment law update. We're going to be in LA County. Specifically, we're going to be in the Burbank area at the LA Airport Burbank Marriott on October 24th, I believe.
Yeah.
And we're going to be in Orange County at the Irvine Marriott on November 6th. Sign up, registration's open. I think there's a URL here. Eric's going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Yep, with Tara.
Yeah.
So we're going to do an AI presentation, AI and human interactions presentation, because it's definitely what's going on right now in our world. So we'll be doing that both in Burbank and OC.
Yeah, yeah. I see in the chat, Maria, earthquake during the
Your
exam.
certification, wow.
Totally get it. I did it from home during the pandemic. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like with finals during college. If something's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong during finals week. If something's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong during your exam. Jonathan, which certification stands out the most, or should I continue with my path on doing a master's? This is my opinion, Jonathan. I think that the either the senior certified or so senior certified certifications stand out the most. So that would be the SPHR, the SHRM SCP. If you're not there because you do want some experience, for me, experience trumps everything. Experience in HR really trumps everything. The other one that stands out is the PHR California. That's, again, my opinion. Talk to a lot of people who are certified. Eric, do you have any advice on certification?
Yeah, I agree with what you say about these senior certifications, but if you are focusing on California, the California specific, because California it's its own world, and of course the SHRM certifications have to be global, in a sense. And if you have a focused California training and certification, employers are going to know that. They realize that we live in a different universe, and I think that's a really important tool to have.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, with 1 minute left, my challenge to you all, register for one in-person meeting in the next quarter. Here I have listed some meetings that are coming up. We have PIHRA Gateway Cities on July 10th. They have a meeting on the AI revolution and your workplace. If you're in Coachella Valley, they're meeting on July 17th. On the 17th as well, PIHRA Los Angeles. They usually meet at a downtown LA. They have a meeting around performance and stress. We have webinars, which you could see here. PIHRA Woodland Hills on July 18th is having barbecue, brews, and bingo. Riverside Social, I am hoping to make that out. This is their second annual tequila tasting. That's going to be cool. And let's see, PIHRA Riverside is meeting again on the 25th, talking about employee leaves and disabilities. I am doing a couple chats. One is on the 12th. It's called Cultural Humility in the Workplace. It's free for everybody. So it's free. Sign up. That's going to be great with the professor at UMass. I also have a chat which will be interactive on July 26th, Thriving in the Face of Workplace Challenges, and we'll be talking about grief. Sorry, I went over a minute. Thank you so much. Feel free to reach out to me, connect with where am I? Connect with Eric online if you like. Here's my information. We'll be sending this out to you. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the last hour. Eric, you're the best.
Thank you, everybody. This has been so much fun. Always wonderful to see you, Lily, Elisette, and everybody on here. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful weekend, and happy 4th coming up.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.